This one's dedicated to all the nostalgia merchants out there if you want to take a trip down memory lane in FC25, because today I'm showing you all the best mods that'll give you a blast from the past and provide all the retro vibes. Your boy is back, and if you want to be reminded of the good old days, or you're just sick and tired of modern day football, retro kits, retro graphics, retro players, and a whole lot more, lock in right here on this channel where we have even more retro modding content coming with FC25, retro FIFA games, retro mods and whatnot. You know the deal. Just let me cook in 2025, alright? Welcome to the PC modding world where game updates are the enemy. Just a cheeky tip, just head into offline mode. Go offline in the EA app just to be safe, just so your mods work. If you do find that most of the mods in this video are outdated and you want to use them on previous title updates, I'll leave the link to the FC25 rollback tool in the description. Going back freely to whatever title update fits your modding needs. They're all here available to download, so if you've got a mod that only works on title update 8, you can select whichever one you need and just reinstall it, re-download it. As we wait for these retro mods to apply and for our game to launch, as always, you'll find all the download links for every single mod that I use in this video listed and linked down in the description below. You could also drop a like on the video and hit subscribe for more modded showcases coming your way. I hate to break it to you, but if you're a nostalgia merchant like myself, we're gonna have to rely on mods in order to recapture that feeling. Retro players, retro teams, and retro kits. It's only possible here on PC. Now let's load up this segment where we're focusing purely on retro mods only. Now the first mod we're gonna take a look at here, it is free to download and it's all to do with retro kits. Adding an abundance of retro jerseys, assets, and retro graphics to the game, like retro match balls, retro logos, retro kit fonts even. It doesn't skip a beat when it comes to the OG graphics added back to the game. And if you are curious, here is the full list of retro kits it brings to the table. 10 retro balls, a couple of retro boots too, some new mini faces, and some retro team crests. So let's see them in action, starting off with both Mexico and Napoli, who have had some retro kit designs added into the game. The 2020 World Cup kits for the Mexicans and Napoli's classic season 2011/12 season suite. The sponsors are a bit much, but we forgive them. The nostalgia bait gets us. I've covered this mod before, so I'm going to show you guys all the kit updates that have happened in this latest version, but I'm still tempted to show you some cult classics like the reworked Arsenal 04 Invincibles kits and that Atletico Madrid Spider-Man sponsor. I can't resist, lads, I really can't, as we've got Chelsea's 11/12 season kits there. I believe this is the 12/13 jersey. We also have Bayern Munich's complete set of 17/18 kits. I don't know what you guys consider retro, but taking them back to 2002 with this Ajax home and away shirt. Get a version with the collar and without the collar. Meanwhile, Roma get gifted with their Scudetto winning set from the 90s. We're taking them back to 1995 with Dortmund's set here. Oh, we've even got a fourth alternate jersey. They did that back in the day. Alright, BVB, I see you. Their jerseys were actually kind of fire, all four of them. Meanwhile, it's something a bit more recent here with Marseille's 2014 shirts. Venezia are getting some retro treatment here with two kits from the 1994/95 season. That old school city emblem goes hard, the little golden griffin. Meanwhile, Newcastle throw it back to the mid-2000s with the Northern Rock sponsor. These are the shirts from that Barclays era, the 05/06 season. It's another mid-2000s special here with Benfica's home and away variant, and it's cool that they're still rocking the Addon sponsorship to this day. Meanwhile, Rangers are rocking up here with the kits that they wore at the turn of the millennium, the 99/2000 shirts. Back when Serie A was the best league in the world, the early 90s, we've got Atalanta's 93/94 kits, both Lotto home and away variants. Meanwhile, over at Lazio, we have got their 1991/92 kits. The one thing that's grabbed my eye straight away is those shorts. That kit design is very out there. South American retros, yeah, say my name and I'll be there. We've got River Plate here with some gorgeous old retro Adidas threads, and their bitter rivals Boca Juniors are turning up to the party here too with their 1989 shirt, or 1981 shirt I should say, and the 1997 home kit. Liverpool not only get their 2017 Champions League final shirt, but also the 05 season, the mid-2000s Carlsberg shirt sponsor, and the Under Armour kit manufacturer. We're We're living it up here. This is just a blast from the past, and some of these kits are just the epitome of retro. Like these Juventus threads, as much as I hate them, the Bianconeri have had some stunners, including that Sony sponsor, the Kappa kit manufacturer. Just take my money. And here's your look at the OG Premier League kit number fonts from different eras. We've got the early 2000s here with Chelsea, as you've just seen, and that late 2000s / early 2010s Premier League font that you can see on the shorts right there, and also the old retro Premier League Champions logo. Now here's a mod I've covered before, the realistic mod by Matty. Believe it or not, it actually comes through with a retro kits add-on, which mainly focuses on German teams. We've got Borussia Dortmund here with a 1997 retro home shirt, retro dark away shirt, and I don't know how he gets away with calling this one retro, but it's a 2023 quote-unquote retro kit, a jersey from 2 years ago, but these two are the real main stars. And we've got Werder Bremen with a home and an away shirt, both from the 2007 season, with the Buin front shirt sponsor, the Kappa kit manufacturer, right before they won the league in 2010. The Gooners are up next, and they come through with their 2005 cherry wine home shirt and the O2 sponsor, back when they were with Nike, and the kit just screams Invincibles. Meanwhile at Ajax, they've got their kits from the turn of the millennium, the 2000 home shirt and away shirt, as we've even got a Hamburg retro set with both a home and away. These shirts are from 2018, but I don't know why this home kit just reminds me of Rafael van der Vaart. Barcelona also gets sorted with a 2004 little duo, the home and away. But for the Barcelona fans, hold up, keep watching, because I found a thread of mod that adds every single Barcelona kit from the 1999 to 2000 season all the way up to 2016. So every single Barcelona home shirt from every single season is right here up until the 15/16 campaign. You can go all the way back to when they won the Champions League in 2015. This is 15 years worth of Barcelona home shirts covered, and you can download and pick and choose the ones you want. If you just want the home shirt from the 08-09 season, go ahead and you can just individually apply them all. Or if you want to go all the way back to 2001. This is just a Barcelona fan's wet dream right here. I don't know how I stumbled across this. If only every team could get the coverage like this and have every single retro kit available as a mod. You've got Neymar's first Barca kit. You've also got this shirt that just screams Messi in FIFA 13. Retro shirts like these used to be unlockable via the EA catalog back in the day. Now EA are just starving us out here. It's just that the retro nostalgia merchants are eating good. And trust me, there is still way more where that came from. We are just scratching the surface here, lads. Let's keep rolling. Now, to really take this retro mod segment up a notch, we now have the Retro National Teams patch, which is a free mod that comes through with so much cool stuff. We've got retro national team kits, retro players, retro squads of years gone by, retro face packs, legendary face scans exclusive to this mod, and here's just a little sneak peek of what it's going to deliver. It completely rehauls national team management and the whole international section of the game. Just take a look at how many retro player and manager faces it comes through with. Literally over 110 new faces. To see it in action, we've got to head on over to our squads files. So head on over to the profile, load your squads up, cherry pick and load up the Retro National Patch by Z on the 13th of January. Activate it and it should be smooth sailing from here. Now to see if this one's working, we've done all the steps. Head on over to the international team section. We do have some old school players like Zlatan added back into the mix. It seems like the squads are working. We've got players that aren't even on FIFA, like Di Stefano for Argentina. This is why sometimes mods can partially work on different title updates. We've got Iceland, who is actually replaced by Brazil, but because it's not compatible, you guessed it, you know, some things aren't working. We've got a few assets that are scuffed, but we've got an insane retro 5-star all-star Brazilian squad here. You get the picture, you get the idea. Even some players that aren't even legends and icons, they've just recently retired, like Pepe. Oh, and the streets won't forget Bola Quaresma too. Let's take a look at some of these retro kits in action. We've got Argentina here with two little options for their home shirt. The Czech Republic have been replaced by Japan, at least in the kits department. This was how it was supposed to look. But unfortunately, the new updated version isn't available yet. And this is why I kind of want to cover these outdated mods, just in case the mod creators see this video. It might motivate them to actually update it, and especially this one because it's free. I want everyone to to eat out here. We've got Germany's 2014 World Cup winning shirt, another home shirt variant from the 80s or 90s. We've got a chunky Roberto Carlos showcasing the two home shirt variants for the Brazilians. I believe that's the 2002 World Cup winning shirt. Of course, we've got my boys Italia with some two classy, plain, simple home shirt designs from the past, and the Netherlands with two of their iconic orange home shirts. That's got to be one of my favorite national team jerseys of all time, man. An instant classic. You can't go wrong with these two. Portugal have got that iconic 04 cherry wine home shirt. Meanwhile, the 2016 Euros winning kit is here in all its glory. It's back. And sorry to all my Romanians out there, but they've been replaced by Belgium with the kit that inspired their 2018 World Cup shirt and the Euro 2016 kit. Spain and Sweden are serving up some heat as the Spaniards have two awesome home kits. Obviously, the 2010 winner shirt, and Sweden are out here remixing it with both the past and the present. The 2018 home shirt, and I think this is from the 80s or 90s, but that is absolutely class. I love that. This is the full list of legends added by this mod. If I went through them all, we'd be here all day, but this is an actual comprehensive list that have all got face scans. They're not just generic faces. They're in the game and you can play with them without spending a cent. So this list is just a classic. It's nostalgic, and there are some players in here I've never even heard of, so this mod goes above and beyond. We've got some retro players return to their prime, like Di Maria, Higuain, Aguero. They've all returned onto their national team, alongside some icons and some legends of the game with their face scan. This is just one example, but England with the likes of David Seaman, Gary Neville, Jagielka, John Terry. Like, this is just classic Barclays team. It's a classic England squad, what you'd come to expect. Some removed legends from over the years like Teddy Sheringham. France have a pretty comprehensive squad too. Michel Platini, not even in the game, but got a face scan too. You love to see it. And yeah, this is just throwing it back. It's a retro one. Thierry Henry with a face scan, and he's actually got some hair. So they're custom retro face scans ready to apply to your game. And you can't forget the retro goalkeeper kits too. They are also applied. In this case, Brazil, here's one of my favorites. We've got a retro Neymar face scan. I think this is from what, 2018, 2019? Feels weird calling it retro, but it's been that long. This is when he first joined PSG and now returned back in his prime on this all-star national team squad. And for Italia, my boys, it's not just legends and icons added back in, but some cult heroes like Mario Balotelli. We've got Bonucci, Francesco Totti, De Rossi, Barzagli, Nesta, Marchisio. The list goes on and on. And for the people who'd always love to see Edgar Davids in the game, bam, we've got him here with the iconic orange goggles and with those famous tied up dreadlocks. This is one of the most complete free retro national mods I've ever seen. And shout out, you know what, shout out to this Swedish goalkeeper kit, which looks absolutely insane. Something straight out of the 90s. So if you want to wind back the clock, experience different eras, and just have some good old-fashioned fun again on FIFA without spending copious amounts of money on FIFA points trying to pack these guys in Ultimate Team, you've got them right here. And some exclusive creative retro players that are only on this database, like your Yapstams, like your Edgar Davids, like your Wesley Schneiders. One of the main reasons why we haven't seen Zlatan yet return as a hero or icon card is that notoriously Ibra's got some imaging rights and licensing issues that he hasn't sorted out with EA yet, so this mod completely circumvents that. So hop on it if you haven't already, because this mod definitely packs a punch on the international scene, and honestly goes incredibly hard. It would be so cool for like an eras mode type feature to actually come through to FC26, where you could travel back in time, use former players, former teams, and experience different time periods. But for now, this is the closest we're gonna get, and honestly, I dig it. And yeah, I'm barely even scratching the surface here, but this mod is also compatible in tournament mode, in kickoff, wherever you want to use this mod in the offline realm, it is available to you. I'm just crossing my fingers for an update to come out soon, because I don't know how much longer I can handle Iceland actually being Brazil, and the likes of Adriano, Romario, and OG Neymar being Icelandic. We've also got Marcelo in here, who's rumored to be returning in FC26 as like an icon or hero card. So right here, you get free reign to use some of your favorite players from years gone by, and some that have never seen the light of day in FIFA before, or in modern times I should say, like Prime Adriano, the goated wing-back partnership returning of Dani Alves and Marcelo, young Maldini, Chiellini, Chiellini's back. The list goes on and on. If you're not convinced after seeing Retro Neymar assist Adriano for Brazil against a retro Italian side, you're a lost cause. I can't help you at this point. The mod also hooks you up with some retro managers on the ticket too, like Arsene Wenger back at Arsenal, back in charge at the Emirates. We've got a young Jose Mourinho returning to Stamford Bridge as he's managing Chelsea now, and a young Pep Guardiola who still got hair. Nah, hello taper fade Pep Guardiola in FC25 before GTA 6. I didn't see this one coming. The Retro National Teams patch also comes with an extra add-on just in case you want a bit of a Japanese fix. This includes the retro kits, some retro players, and their face scans. This is just optional, but I had to include it because it's recently gotten an update, and it brings back some classic Japanese cult heroes and actually works in the mod manager despite it saying that it only works for a certain title update. Doesn't matter what title update you're on, these faces will work. For example, in my mod manager, it says it's built for title update 7. However, I'm actually on title update 10, and I've got the mod applied, and I've just installed it to random players to show that the faces are working. We've got the ex-Man United underrated baller Shinji Kagawa, Nagatomo, the Inter Milan legend, an AC Milan legend, possibly one of the best Japanese players ever, Kazuki Honda, and Yasuhito Endo. How about 90s Japanese icon Shunsuke Nakamura, who's currently the first team coach of Yokohama FC, but how about the 58-year-old still playing professional football to this day, Kazuyoshi Miura? Bro doesn't even know what retirement is. What is a nursing home? So if you're a big fan of Japanese football, past and present, this mod is going to be right up your alley. And here's the full list of faces it comes with. For those of you out there fiending for retro content, trust me, I've got you covered on all fronts. Now these next two mods, when you combine them together on match day, it serves you up a pretty decent retro aesthetic that is going to transform your gameplay experience. This one's actually to do with retro goal nets. As you can see here, they just got a different feel to them. They're a little bit more droopy, and they've got those classic vibes that the old school football used to have in like the mid 2000s, I want to say, mid to early 2000s, most definitely late 90s, and they have no tightness to them. It's got that amateur Sunday league look, and this mod just encapsulates the aesthetic perfectly. The top part of the net hangs lower, and the net in general is just much more reactive. It's supposed to capture the look of old school football, and I think it does a tremendous job. You can tell up close, you can see it from far away as well. The mesh texture is different. The actual net is just extra loose. I don't know, this goal net is just something you wouldn't see in modern day football anymore. It's a lost art. It definitely needs to be studied. I love that little goal shot angle. It's just a key element that you need to utilize on your retro game day experience. I can't explain it. It's just a perfect little vibe that brings back the classic mid 2000s. The ball just interacts with it beautifully. The retro Champions League match ball. It's a match made in heaven. Now something else that's going to make you feel more immersed in this retro atmosphere we're trying to create here with mods. It's the damaged pitch add-on, where you can already see once you step onto the field, there are just some areas which are completely muddy. The pitch is just struggling for dear life. The center circle has got some unforgivable muddy areas, and over here in the keeper's area in the box, it is mud central. You can see all the dirt patches, all the spots of grass that have just been completely withered away, and the groundsmen have not been doing their job. But I guess back in the day, this is what they kind of played on. If you ever look back at some old retro highlights of players, like these were the type of pitches. This was the state of football pitches like in the 70s and the 80s. It was nearly impossible to keep up, and you can really tell on the sidelines there where the substitutions happen that there are some areas of the pitch that are incredibly damaged. So no matter where you're playing, the pitch will be looking different. It'll be looking worse. It could look better. So when you combine the damaged pitch with the retro goal nets, it is just a match made in heaven here. It provides you with that retro look and kind of transports you back in time. Not gonna lie, this pitch currently reminds me of like classic Sunday league pitches I used to play on back in the day when I was growing up. If it rained for one day, you already knew that the goalkeeping area wasn't gonna hold up, and it would just be muddy for weeks on weeks. Thankfully, it doesn't really impact gameplay whatsoever, and no matter what that guy does on the ground, it's not gonna improve the pitch condition. I don't know why the groundsmen are grinding away, but here is what it looks like at top level stadium, the Emirates. Obviously, the damaged pitch mod is going to be looking a little little bit less, but for some reason, they've got American football pitch lines engraved into it. It's like they played an NFL game yesterday, and now they're preparing for an Arsenal match. But you can see just the different levels of damage here. This is on the lower tier side. It's a bit more of a washed out vibe, if you know what I mean. Kind of a little sporadic patches here and there. Like, the damage is on a lower level compared to Italy. Now, I wonder what's going to happen when you're playing like League 2. What are we in for here? And yeah, we're back to that OG damaged, but I thought it would just be that perfect little add-on to throw into the mix. When you talk about a retro mod list, this just fits in perfectly, and it just harks back to the old school environments that footballers used to play on, like back when Jim Hunter, when you played that little journey segment in FIFA 19 with the FA Cup final replay, Jim Hunter in the 1970s scoring the winner. That's exactly what this damaged pitch mod brings to the table. Mate, modern day players would refuse to play on a pitch that looks like this. Arteta would have a new excuse as to what to blame the Arsenal loss on. How about a retro Champions League career mode theme that harks back to the early 2000s with a retro background, broadcast package, scoreboards, and retro assets? It's a retro overhaul over your Champions League experience, and this is where combining the retro mods can get really fun. Now, not only do we have our retro kits activated to kind of fit the time period properly, but we also have that career mode menu background, so you know on Champions League match day, it is just absolutely beautiful, levels above the modern theme that we get now, even just the career mode menus in general. Like, going from this plain, boring, generic dark background, contrast that to the retro Champions League theme, and oh my days, it is a graphical masterpiece. Even if you're not actually playing the match through and through, having the tactical view simulation of it all, a retro visual overhaul that goes way harder than it should have. It's shiny, it's sleek, and is just the Champions League branding that we've all come to know and love. Every aspect of the Champions League match day experience gets a retro overhaul, including the press conferences, which have all the retro sponsors, the retro ad boards, the OG logo. It's doing everything to have you fully immersed and transported back to those old school Champions League days, and you've even got the retro match ball up there, which we've got different variations of, which I'll show you, which is the red and white retro finale ball. Not quite sure what year it's from, but I'm sure you guys will let me know down below. You've also got this orange on black winter variation, the high-vis ball, as this is how they all look in-game. Ultra high quality textures, which make them look as realistic as possible. And now here on match day is where the mod really starts to shine, because you're going to see all the retro assets and graphics work to their full effect, like the broadcast package, which just looks so clean. It's so classy. You've got the retro podiums and all the match day GFX, the nice retro themed broadcast overlays. We've got the retro kits for both clubs. It's like if you put FIFA 06 on RTX mode. I feel like I'm transported back to the mid-2000s. We've also got the mascots wearing the retro Champions League kit that the ball kids used to wear. The attention to detail here is top notch. You can see in the background you've got the Champions League branding displayed all throughout the stadium. You've even got the referees wearing a retro kit. The pre-game lineup pop-ups are just, you know, they're clean, they're classy, they're nothing too fancy, they just get the job done. It's a pinpoint recreation of the old school Champions League broadcasts, and it brings back that vibe of the old branding perfectly. You get the nice little team pop-up there, and it just, you know, that little transition. And then in the top left, it's the scoreboard is probably the only thing that bothers me. It's pretty small, just in terms of the ratio when you compare it to the entire screen. It's properly visible, and you're also gonna see some of the retro sponsors and ad boards on the sidelines too. So you've got Gatorade in there, you've got PS3, you've got Heineken on the ad boards too, and it just comes together in one beautiful little package. MasterCard, the retro PlayStation and Sony sponsorship, that just brings back memories. That's nostalgic for me. Plus the retro kits and the retro set of match balls is just the cherry on top for me, because another retro detail that you might not notice straight off the bat, besides the retro Champions League branding and podiums all around the stadium, it's actually the players on the bench substitution bibs. You can get a better look at them here, but that's just yet another visual element that's changed, and something to look out for with this retro mod. There is also another variation of the scoreboards and broadcast package, which just have its own different style. I don't know, for me, low-key, I prefer this one over the first version I showed you. The first option was kind of clean-cut, low-key basic, but this one, it's a little bit more sleek, got a bit more style to it, and it's just doing something different on the screen. I like the little gradient, the little fade out. I don't know, something about that style which just catches my eye and stands out tremendously, especially when it comes to the lineup team graphics, the pre-match graphics, and the broadcast overlay at kickoff. It just, oh my god, it's just night and day over the other one. It is chef's kiss. It incorporates more of that retro Champions League branding. The scoreboard is much bigger in the top left. It stands out, it pops. If you can't tell, I'm very biased to this variation of the scoreboards, but at the end of the day, it's personal preference, I guess. Take your pick. That's how sexy it is. That's how beautiful it looks on screen. Now, if you do want to keep it in that retro theme, we do have a nice little free kit pack here of retro national team kits. I'll show them all off. We've got Argentina with that Copa America winning jersey. It's just the home shirt. Meanwhile, England get a nice little bunch. I think that's the one from the 2022 World Cup. Both Italy and Portugal get iterations from the mid-2000s. You've got Italy, I believe that's the 2004 jersey, so before they won the World Cup in 06, and then Portugal get a nice little checkered number there. More European heavyweights like Spain and France get a nice little number there. I believe that's the 2010 World Cup kit for Spain, and then the 06 home and away for France. Last but not least, we've got the Germany 2014 World Cup winners shirt from after they won it in Brazil. It's got the gold winners badge and everything. It's got the iconic 7-1 kit. What more do you want? Now, it wouldn't be a retro mods video if we couldn't capture that OG FIFA sound into the game, and that's where the standalone FIFA nostalgia soundtrack mod by Schleiper comes through and replaces all 117 FC25 songs with some classic FIFA tunes, some retro throwbacks, some songs that just remind you of the early 2010s to late 2010s era to the late 2000s era. You can see all the songs listed on the left. You're gonna see some OG FIFA classics slipping in through the cracks, but also you've got just some random songs from the time. Songs by FIFA artists like John Newman, Gorillaz, Portugal the Man, who are featured on retro FIFA soundtracks, but these are just other songs that they have in the catalog, and you've got some absolute slappers on here. Some incredible tunes, I'm not gonna lie, we got bangers on bangers. Songs like Ocean Drive, Due to Mont, like that would have been a perfect FIFA song. Now it gets its time to shine. You've got Pumped Up Kicks, Foster the People. You've got some Flume, some Kings of Leon, The Weeknd, Daft Punk, songs from FIFA 07. It is truly a mixed bag, like the perfect nostalgia throwback playlist. I feel like if you're a Gen Z, like born from 1998 to probably like 2003, you'd have a real appreciation for these songs. Some of them are massive chart-topping hits, and some of them are just, you know, random songs that fit the vibe and fit the tone of FIFA. Back when Calvin Harris was dropping bangers like it was nobody's business. I will happily mute Ed Sheeran, The Shape of You, but the rest can stay. Soundtrack mods are my kryptonite. I just love hearing different songs and retro tunes in FC25, especially if you're not a fan of the modern day bloated soundtracks. This is going to hit home for you guys, and you won't need Spotify. You're going to have this absolute work of art, this elite playlist to listen to, and it's going to feel like the glory days again, trust me. These are some generational songs, man, I swear down. Well, what about if you've got a specific taste and your favorite FIFA soundtrack was FIFA 14? Fear not, my fellow nostalgia merchant, because we have a mod that completely wipes the FC25 soundtrack and replaces it with all of the songs from FIFA 14. Just seeing this on my screen right now is giving me goosebumps all over. It's up there with one of the greatest soundtracks in FIFA history, and now you can have it in FC25. FIFA soundtrack mods are just God's gift to Earth at this point. FIFA 14, my beloved, your legacy still lives on. Now, if you wanted to play with some classic throwback retro teams and all-time squads from yesteryears, Beta 10 Ultra Mod Classic Squads add-on is just for you. You're going to see a brand new league here, the FIFA Classic League, where 10 footballing giants get to see the return of some all-time players, some superstars of the game, and they get classic versions of their squad. So Inter Milan Classic, Juventus Classic, Liverpool Classic. They're all 5-star outfits. They're all best of the best type players, and it's just generational stars from across eras combined into one team. They're all-star squads, and sometimes you get legends and players that aren't even in the game, like Brian Robson, Dennis Irwin at left back, Andy Cohen, Dwight York off the bench as a striker, and you've even got got more players down here in the bench, in the reserves, and that's the deal for every single team. Real Madrid is obviously stacked, probably one of the highest rated all-star squads, and of course it is compatible in career mode with the addition of some legend managers in the fray. So all you gotta do is scroll on over to the FIFA section where you get Pep Guardiola managing at Barca, Spain's 2010 winning coach Vicente del Bosque managing at Real Madrid, Sir Alex Ferguson is back at the Theatre of Dreams managing Manchester United. You've got Fabio Capello at Milan, Arsene Wenger obviously returns to Arsenal, Jose Mourinho back at Chelsea, Marcelo Lippi, the 2006 World Cup winning coach, he's in charge of Juve. You've got Bob Paisley at Liverpool. I think this is before my time, before pretty much everyone's time watching the video here. It looks like he's a legend from the 60s or the 70s, and then to finish it off, Inter Milan have Giovanni Trapattoni at the helm. You can either continue on and play a manager career mode with this side, or use these retro managers and plot them back to whatever club you want them to manage. It's really up to you how you want to play and what you want to do with this retro mod that completely overhauls career mode. You could use these clubs in kickoff versus your mates, pop them in their own little exclusive tournament, and just relive the good old days. Run through some players and retro teams that you're unfamiliar with, create your own storylines, create your own saves, and just indulge in whatever retro rosters this mod has in store for you. Now, another mod by Sirski which caught my attention and was considered retro in my books is the NO2DRUG mod, which adds into the game a retro Maradona with Michel Platini, who kind of partnered up in wearing this NO2DRUG and NO2Propaganda shirts before a match. I don't know if it was an exhibition match, I don't know what was going on, someone might have to correct me. This is from the 80s and 1986. If you want the full backstory, Maradona wore a shirt that read no drugs, Platini wore a shirt saying no corruption. Years later, Maradona overdosed and Platini was arrested for corruption. So the backstory and lore is kind of funny with this mod, and once you load up the squads, you want to back out and activate them, and if you've done it correctly, you should have some created players that have been added to your database, and that includes Maradona with an incredibly cool afro looking cut. This is a custom make and it's looking pretty good. Like, that is an insane looking afro. Not just his overall, but his afro has peaked, and that's a custom like young Maradona looking face. Meanwhile, we've got Platini in here too, 93 rated, and you guessed it, the face scan added to the game alongside the NO2DRUG shirt. It's such an obscure and niche footballing reference, let alone a full mod. And what it does is pretty much override the icons as all-star team here in the rest of the world category with the no drug and no corruption team with the official badge, the official crest. I don't even know if this was an exhibition team or just two random shirts that Maradona and Platini wore before a game. You've got Diego's old school 2D mini face, and Platini is down here ready to join him in midfield with an AI face profile picture. That's two sides of the spectrum I didn't think would clash today. Unfortunately, you can't use this team or their players in career mode or anything, but the mod also adds that French variation shirt that is meant to say no to corruption. It's kind of a retro 80s France kit as well, but this green and white one, it's more of just a random fantasy team looking kit. The logo or the team icon is very unique, I'll give them that. Now, I don't know if this was supposed to be some random social justice moment trying to make a statement on the pitch, or if this was an actual exhibition game that happened, but whatever the case may be, it kind of fell flat on its face. For me, I had no idea this even existed, or this no to drug, no to corruption campaign even happened. So why not? I doubt many, if any, of you guys would have heard of this, a random team slash event. Pele's also the manager for some reason. I thought, you know, just why not? Let's throw it into the mod showcase. It fits the retro bill for me, so I thought I'd put it on the map. No to drug, no to corruption. I'm here for it, lads. These are the mods for you to bring back a couple of throwback and retro kits, retro badges, graphics, and more. And we're going to start off with the 2003/04 season for the Premier League. This mod can also be paired with the Retro GFX mod package, where it just brings back all the old logos and crests for every single team in the Premier League. So if you want that complete retro graphics overhaul, I extremely recommend you pair these two up together, because just take a look look at some of these retro beauties in all their high definition glory. They're mostly just 2 kits, home and away, because it was just simpler times back then. No 3rd kits or 4th kits to make extra cash on. It was just your home and away, and that's all you had every season. I would have loved to see the return of Fulham's classic Pizza Hut logo, but they didn't have that until like the late 2000s or even earlier, as Liverpool get that iconic Carlsberg sponsorship back on the front shirt, and the little badge in the center I kind of vibe with as well. Man United and Man City are completely decked out. Actually, United are sorted with 5 kits. That is sensational. The Vodafone sponsor too, the Umbro manufacturer as well. We've got the Nike era. We have quite the selection over here in Manchester, and Man City are coming through hot as well with the AC Milan retro inspired jersey with the Kappa sponsorship. The real ones know that you could already do this back in the day by just unlocking retro classic kits from the EA catalog, but ever since they removed that feature, I guess modders have come to our rescue, because these are some great classics that we can rep here in modern times. And I feel like clubs always bring back a retro kit or just like a retro number once every couple of seasons. So it's just some great classic throwback kits to chuck into the mix, and yeah, you've got some even old club logos on the shirt too, for the likes of both Spurs and Portsmouth. 20 years on, some of the 03-04 Prem teams aren't in the top flight anymore, and that goes for the likes of Bolton and Middlesbrough. Their historic classic kits haven't been left out whatsoever. Both Birmingham City and Charlton Athletic, man, these were some proper Barclays teams here in the mix. And of course, without a doubt, without question, it carries on over into career mode too. The club badge and GFX mod wheel as well, but I just haven't been able to get it working with this version of the game. Now, it's not just retro player faces we've got on offer here. I have found a retro managers pack, which includes some retro face scans of some iconic managers like a young Marcelo Bielsa, Vicente Del Bosque, Didier Deschamps, a young Steve McLaren. Yeah, it's the crossover I never knew we needed, but it has arrived. Some international managers of the late 2000s / early 2010s era, and with the 6 faces, it provides a couple of career mode opportunities and some save ideas here. Why not bring a young Marcelo Bielsa into modern day Leeds United here in the Championship and try hit a promotion push with the former English Giants? I actually believe these are converted from the 08 Euros game or the 2010 standalone World Cup game, but they've been converted from previous FIFA titles, and to be honest, you can't really tell, besides the fact the textures are actually pretty high definition and it doesn't look out of place whatsoever right here in FC25. And I don't know how Newcastle fans are going to feel about this one, but what about bringing a young Steve McLaren back in the hot seat at St. James's Park? I believe this face was from the era of the 2008 season where he failed to qualify England for the Euros, so not too many happy memories for any English football fan with this variation of McLaren's head. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this could be pulled straight from the Euros 2008 standalone game, back when EA used to make specific games for upcoming tournaments. Now, since 2012, football fans have only known Didier Deschamps to be managing the French national team, but what if you brought him back to where it all began in his managerial career here in the south of France at Monaco, to see not only if he could cut it on the international scene, but at club level too, because I think the 2026 World Cup will be his final stint with Les Bleus, and who knows if he's going to continue managing after that point, so we might as well make the most of it whilst we can. We also have the Brazilian mastermind, former manager of the Brazilian national team, and had a brief stint at Chelsea back in 2008, so we've had to rewind the clock here, and you can give the old dog another chance back here at the Bridge in the Premier League. And unfortunately, the skin color doesn't quite match his face. In this instance, we just head on over to edit manager. You can see there that the skin tone needs changing, so we just head down to skin and give him the appropriate skin tone, and voila, it's fixed. It's not the Face Mod's fault, that was just because of the manager I chose, but there we go, it's a simple fix. And for my final trick, for my final throwback, this is for all my Italians out there, because Marcello Lippi, World Cup 06 winning manager, is back in the game right here with his iconic glasses. All he needs is a cigar on the sideline, and he is represented in FC25 perfectly. We've got the world champ back here at Juventus, one of the many clubs he managed, but most importantly, his time for the Italian national team will be remembered for the ages. I do think this was converted and lifted from the 2010 standalone World Cup game. Not that the 2010 campaign was very memorable for the Azzurri, but he's here nonetheless. Now, Unfortunately, something I will warn you about is that I can't actually get Vicente Del Bosque's face to work. Spain's 2010 World Cup winning manager, unfortunately, it just replaces it with De La Fuente, who's just fresh off winning the Euros for the country. But I was keen to see that famous Spanish moustache here in FC25, but it's just not working for me, especially on my end. So I can report that at least 5 out of the 6 faces are in full working order. The retro feeling is about to get kicked up a gear, because what if you could bring back different teams and different clubs from different eras with accurate rosters, kits and more? Well, I've got good news for you Real Madrid, Liverpool and Manchester United fans out there, because with a click of a button we can bring back a Real Madrid's iconic Champions League winning squad, and it's got exactly what you'd come to expect with this team. We have random players or retired players that have been brought back in, like Sergio Ramos, who has been removed from FC25. We've got Marcelo, who's actually recently retired. He's been brought back in his prime, the same as Keylor Navas. We've got that iconic electric blue on white Real Madrid kit, and another recently retired player, Rafael Varane, right here, with all their retro faces brought back and reunited here. And especially we've got the likes of Benzema, who I've got a retro 2008 face mod of, and of course Cristiano Ronaldo with his iconic noodle hair, just to hark back and bring back those 2017 vibes all over again. It really does feel like the gang is back in town. A beardless Benzema does in fact look cursed, but this was the period in time where he had the 2 slits in the side of his head. We've also got an older version of Sergio Ramos back when he had the long hair, the headband, the SR15 written on it. So I just thought, why not? I know it's not exactly time specific to 2017/18 season. It's just a cool retro face I thought I'd throw in there. It's not just the home kit either, it's the entire suite. All 3 shirts, home, away and third, especially that one. The blue blocky kit where Ronaldo scored the Ronaldo bicycle kick Pushkash award winning shirt. And here's how they line up with all their returning players back in the mix, back in the fray. The removed/retired players are involved. We've got the accurate bench players and the reserves. I just added Bellingham on the end just to make up the numbers. But this is what you get with the 17-18 Real Madrid starting 11. Maybe you want to replay the final back in 2018, rewrite history, or just replay the night, relive it, get redemption if you're a Liverpool fan, or just bask in the victory if you're a Madrid fan. These mods and retro squad files have so much replayability, and I kind of low-key wish it was a feature in the actual game and we didn't need mods for this, because games like 2K and Madden have this kind of feature already where you can go back and play with retro teams and retro players in their old squads. As we move on here to the Manchester United team of 2009. Now, things look a bit out of place right now. Let's go in and take a look. Let's change some things up in here. We've still got some of current day players, so we're going to replace the lit with Rio Ferdinand. We've got Mazraoui in here, who we're going to replace with Johnny Evans, who ironically still plays for Manchester United to this day. We've got Dimitar Berbatov, who should be starting up top. Ryan Giggs, who we're going to shift out to the left. We've got Porsche Goals, who should be running it in the middle of the park. We've got Ronaldo, who knows where he could play. Right wing, yeah, let's put him, and let's slot Carrick back into the mix, as we can slot in Owen Hargreaves. What a throwback, man. I will slot Nani back on the left, man. I feel like I've got to reorganize this whole squad, but we've even got the substitutes and reserves fully decked out with previous Manchester United players. We've got Danny Welbeck when he was first arriving into the first team. 58 rated Tom Cleverley. We've got Wayne Rooney down here in the reserves. What are you doing? He should be in here in this starting 11 somewhere. We've got Patrice Evra, who we can slot in on the left wing back spot. I think we're using United's current day formation, the Ruben Amorim system, with the 2009 players. It's like 2 eras kind of combining. I don't know how to feel about it, but we've got some retro players, some names that I haven't heard in a while, like Raphael, like your Ji-Sung Parks, like your Kuziaks. As much as the squad is accurate, we don't get the luxury of many of the face scans coming back. We do get United's retro kit set though, with the AIG sponsor, the plain simple basic red United home shirt with the white away, the blue collar, and then the complete blue look. All 3 08-09 retro kits are there, including of course some small attention to detail like the gold champions Premier League badge in all its glory back when United actually used to be good. And don't get too excited, we do have Patrick Evra's face scan here, but the rest of the team don't really get that same treatment. You can see they're kind of just generic, and yeah, they don't have any face scans. I do do also have Phil Neville, but that's about it. Low-key, a little bit of a letdown, not gonna lie. But this mod is outdated and hasn't been updated for a while, so the right names, the right kits, but just no likeness whatsoever. And I do bring similar news here with the Liverpool 09 squad. I hate bearing the bad news, but just in case any of you actually still have that title update somewhere and can revert back, these mods might work, or it might get the modders to actually update them to the latest title update, give them some motivation. The Liverpool Retro squad, they've got the proper names, they've got the proper stats, but unfortunately all their 2D mini picks are the actual current day squad, so there's been a little bit of a mix up here in the database in the squad file. It's not exactly compatible with the latest title update. You can see the type of players you got here, like Babel, Ingog, Pennant, Skirtle, Benayoun, Mascherano, Dirk Kuyt, Torres, Gerrard, but it just doesn't feel the same. So I'd love to give this mod a little bit more of a proper spotlight, if of course it actually worked as intended. Maybe we can get the man Kubazet PL to actually give us some updates here, because they're out there by 2 months. That's a long time in the modding world. And that's how you get results like this, where nothing seems to work as intended. We do get the retro kits though, so that is a plus, but you know, it's just not all there. It's not the complete package. I do want to cover some other retro face scans that might pique you guys' interest. I've come across them recently and I think they're pretty neat. We've got a young 2011 version of Messi right here. Let's zoom in and get a look at that Barnet, the haircut. Back when he didn't know what a barber was, back when he didn't care about the big mop on his head. 2011 Messi was a different beast, and we've got him back right here. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We've actually got his retro face. I use that in quotes, but you know, his 2021 version back when he won the Scudetto with Milan, and it's actually looking pretty detailed here. You can see his skin indentations. This is a retro face that really impresses me. It's not just being carried over, but the textures are pretty quality. You can see like little blemishes in his face too. It's shockingly accurate, and it's cool to see him back in the game. We all know the dramas with his image rights. He's probably not coming into a EA licensed product anytime soon. So for the time being, we're gonna need mods to see the King Zlatan back in the game. I've also got two versions of Neymar here. This one is 2017 Neymar, I think fresh from when he just joined PSG in real life. He's got a classic noodle hair type, wave back, or the accurate neck tattoos, no beard, no facial hair or nothing. He's still clean shaven. He's just got that curly hair aesthetic. We also have Prime MSN 2015 Neymar, just after the 2014 World Cup, returning from his major back injury in the tournament and in the homeland in Brazil. He had the classic kind of slicked over wavy hair. We all remember it, and you can tell it's further back in time because he hasn't got any of the neck tattoos. It's actually very time accurate. Now the modders are here to shine and show you guys what is possible here on PC. Oh yeah, talk about streets won't forget. Talk about retro face scans. This one's a blast from the past. Hatem Ben Arfa. The Barclays faithful will never forget you, my son. What an absolute baller. The kids of this generation just don't know what this man was capable of, albeit it was only for 1.5 seasons. But my god, did he capture the imagination of Newcastle fans and Premier League fans. He definitely needs to return as like a hero card or icon card in the future. 5-star skills, 99 dribbling, we need that. I will be there. I'm in the mood to just replay this man's career right now thanks to this retro face mod. I know you Barcelona fans are frothing at the mouth to bring back the glory days, and especially the likes of Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, the classic MSN trio. Here is their face pack ready for you to install. First up, we've got Neymar. These are their faces from that 2015 Champions League winning campaign. Messi's clean shaven right here, right before he dyed his hair blonde, right before he grew out the beard, and then Suarez, just to add that killer instinct up front, and they have their FC25 stats, so obviously you can go ahead and edit their attributes, edit all their stats. This MSN Retro Face Pack just provides you with the faces and the tattoos. Their 2015 look is captured perfectly here, and you could reunite them 10 years later here in FC25. Now I can't make a retro mods video and not include one of the best retro databases for FC24 and FC25. That is the Revolta squads. And this little squad file right here, it's free and it's one of the most powerful mods that you can install. It gives you access to a whole suite of retro teams, new legends, new icons. We've got the Revolta live section, which isn't really anything to do with retro, so I'm gonna skip this over for now. However, the the good stuff really lies in the Revolta Classic and the Revolta Meta sections, where you get access to some of the most overpowered players in FIFA history, and in this case, Ultimate Team. We all saw with the title update 10 that EA added Gervinho, Doumbia, and a Barbo back, the golden trio of Ultimate Team in FIFA 15. But there's no need to worry, with this mod, we have got them activated right here in their own team. They are joined by some other mid-2010s Ultimate Team baddies. Even if you were just a casual Ultimate Team player, you knew Doumbia, a Barbo, Gervinho. It was game over for you, the sweatiest combination you could ever witness. And you get to see him make a return here in the offline realm. We've got more of the modern overpowered players, which I'm not too familiar with, but we also have the Meta Classic. We've got the likes of a young El Shaarawy. We've got Emenike, Hulk back when he was at FC Porto. Some streets won't forget players like Adel Tarapt. You've got the American centre back Win with 127 pace. You've got Dede with 104 pace. This is more of the early 2010s era. I'm not sure how many of you lot know about the likes of Mikoli, Nilmar, Wellington. The Brasilvas like Kelvin and Wallison. Overpowered FIFA 13 beasts like S-Fine. And you get some players that aren't even in the game anymore like Pogba. He's just been deleted. But we're not done there. That's just an Ultimate Team retro flashback. We've got some actual icons and legends of the game all here in their own separate teams, plus some other fantasy squads like the best European legends, or the UEFA European Classics Exhibition Squad. We've got the Legends 43, all of the former legends and icons that have once been in the game but have been removed for one reason or another, like George Weah, who became a political figure in Africa, so like he got removed. We've got players that were in that Classic 11, the World 11 best exhibition teams back in the day, and you just weren't able to access them outside of kickoff, so they're all here. For better or for worse, we had the likes of Alexi Lalas, who used to be a legend back in the day but has been removed. De Boer, Bremer, Romario especially. So a lot of these players, a lot of these cards you were able to use in retro FIFAs like Valderrama, Teddy Sheringham, Fowler, Effenberg. Like these were like FIFA 14, FIFA 15 legends. This database is just something else, bro. It's in its own category. That's how good it is. It's also possible to do a play career mode with them, so you don't have to rely on the EA icons rollout in player career mode. You can just load up some of these teams, like these legend squads that these players aren't playable and the EA lost the license to them ages ago. You can play and let loose with these icons. Not all of them have their face scans and updates in the game. They are coming though, so this mod will be updated in the coming weeks, in the coming months, so all of these former legends are going to have their face scans back in the game. That's probably the only thing that's wrong with this mod, but it's just compatible with every facet of the offline realm, giving you access to this roster. Like, come on, bro, you can't compete with this. EA, there's no need for Ultimate Team anymore. We've got all the icons and legends we want here for all our offline modes. You've got hero cards in here as well. You've got some female icons. There really is every single retro player you can think of, and honestly, you can't have it any other way. This is just too good to be true. I also love how you can get different versions of players. Like, who remembers Chris Smalling FIFA 17, or like, I don't know, Dimitri Payet at West Ham in their prime, ready to carve up? Or what about the likes of FIFA 18 Raja Nainggolan, the golden boy Tony Martial, 14-15 Daniel Sturridge, the unstoppable FIFA 17 Jack Butland. We got Big Meeks back in the building, but we don't really have any retro face scans to write home about besides OG El Shaarawy. And the best thing about them, the little icing on top of the cake, is that you can actually transfer any of these players to any club you want. Unlike the Soccer Aid exhibition teams of the past, all of them are here available in the transfer section. So I want to put Romario and bring him to Frosinone. We need a striker. We also need a central midfielder, and I want a partnering striker, so I'm going to bring in George Weah to help him up top. You could reunite Doumbia, Barbo, and Gervinho, all bringing them back to Roma. I know, lads, it's enough to make any man cry. It brings a tear to the eye. What about Christian Benteke back at Aston Villa? Forget Ollie Watkins, mate. You got a new GOAT in town. We're going to bring a prime Anthony Martial and chuck him back at Old Trafford. What about Dimitri Payet? Let's bring him over to West Ham. And just like that, the power is in your hands. You've got all 5 Infinity Stones. You can bring a Streets Won't Forget version of Hatem Ben Arfa and slot him in at Newcastle. How about Raja Nainggolan back at Roma? Yes, please. And so on and so forth. You could have a goddamn field day with all this. You even get some new 2D updated mini picks as well for the likes of Franz Beckenbauer. Let's give Frosinone prime Buffon just because I feel like it. Actually, that is one of my favorite features with this. The different profile pictures and the different player mini pics you get, especially with players that aren't icons or heroes yet, like David Villa and Pepe, who have that black and white legend effects on their photos. And let's load into a brand new save to see all these changes take effect. The big question is that 99 rated Dimitri Payet here at West Ham. No, he's only 90 once we convert him into career mode, but that is a prime. Streets won't forget Dimitri. Back at the boiling ground, back in claret and blue. And right now I am feeling things I have never felt before. They're all here in their own league in career mode too. So the Revolta Classics, you've got all of the icons available. The Revolta Ultimate Team meta players also carry along, so it's all compatible. And you can edit the rosters and the entire database any which way you want. It is all fully customizable. It's all up to you. You get the full power and full freedom of doing whatever you want, whenever you want. And honestly, provides you a whole different replay value and a whole different new element to career mode. The possibilities are endless, and we're just making career mode fun again. Isn't that what you want? Retro players, retro teams, retro icons and legends. If you'd actually want to manage one of these fantasy teams and fantasy clubs, is head on over to whatever league you want to manage in, replace the team, click the Y button to swap teams, and then you've got literally this database available to slot into career mode at whatever time you want. So say you took a real interest in the Revolta Golden team, you just pop them in. Here they are, just chilling over here in the Bundesliga, replacing Cologne, and just with the snap of my fingers, this database is in career mode and now manageable. No matter what league you put them in, the men's competition, the women's competition, they are all here. Let's just load up the squad one last time. Now they're all available and playable in career mode. If you just want to let loose and see all of these old school players that were once icons and overpowered heroes of FIFA's gone by, they get their own nice little custom outfits, their own little jerseys to go along with it. Who needs Ultimate Team when you've got this free database, this free squads file at your disposal? I'm just getting so many ideas and concepts flowing right now, so many memories, and the nostalgia is just coming back. We even get the Euro Colosseum as their stadium. I just can't stop gushing about this mod. It just outdoes itself every time, and it's only gonna get better. And they've got their own custom stadium too, their own custom goal nets, the custom flags and fan banners in the background, their own kits, their own home and away kits. I honestly just don't even know what to say at this point. If you aren't convinced yet, there's no hope for you. You can't be converted. They even get their own nice little pitch pattern on the turf in the middle. Like these little small details that just bring it all together in this beautiful little retro package. And I hope that's exactly what today's video did for you. All the retro mods in one place. I tried to keep most of them free. I think all of them are actually free to download. There's going to be a whole heap of retro content and some more other retro modded projects I'm bringing along to the table. So just sit tight, be patient. Got a lot of things I'm working on in the background. And honestly, retro mods are one of my favorite categories and one of my favorite types of mods you can install, because most of these players are only available in Ultimate Team, but the offline gamers need to be fed as well. So that's what I'm here to do. Bring you guys the sauce, bring you guys the juice, and improve your FC25 career mode experience every single day. You're gonna have to see it to believe it. This is just the beginning. So if you did, go ahead and enjoy. Drop the video a like down below. If you want to see more of my face, subscribe to the channel. You lot know where to find me by now. Let me know if there are any other mods I should cover and leave them in the comments. I try to keep across everything. I try and keep across all the mods that come to me, so I want to include all of them in a video somehow. Let me know either in the comments. I'm always willing to try out some new mods and show them off to you guys in the process. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. This has been the Retro Mod Showcase. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you all in the very next video. Bye bye.